the morning. Dun, 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 dun. It's Marissa from It's Marissa Wise, and this morning we're going to talk about some of my all-time favorite smut books that I have. And honestly, it's like a little hard to choose just because like I like a lot of my books. I've reread most of them, which is kind of sad because now every time I think about rereading a book, I'm like, oh, I just reread that like last week. So there's that. But we have 5 books we're going to discuss, and then when I'm done with that, I'll probably draw or something because that's the deal. So let's get started, shall we? Alright, so all 5 of these books there's only 2 that are really similar, and they're similar in plot, but not author or storyline, but the main thing is the same. And then a couple of them could be considered dark romance. I'm like a very much hi the only MK. I saw your message for the hello I'll try to be there, and I was like okay, but I'm glad you're here. I have a couple books we're gonna talk about this morning because they're my favorite ones, and so I wanted to share them. And some of them are a little dark romance, and then some of them are not. I'm like a really big mood reader. I don't know about you, but like I cannot read the same exact genre every single time I read a book. So we're gonna talk about some of the ones I like. Okay, my all-time favorite right now is Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss. This is like the best book I've almost ever written. Ever read. I had never heard of Jasmine Moss before this book. The book itself is about a world where like human beings are basically peasants. They are the lower class, and they are kind of just left to fend for themselves against titans, which are bad, and they live everywhere, and they're like considered horrible. And there's a lot of like secrets and lies and political tensions. There's actually a lot of political tensions in this book between like the houses of Olympus and the houses that I can never pronounce. So yeah, what to do a search about? I will do that search later. It is really cool. I like this book. This book is actually solid, and it has another one called Bonds of Hercules, and then we're waiting on the third one, which is where a lot of plot holes I hope are gonna be filled because I'm ready for this series to like kind of come to a conclusion because I like it so much. I read all these books pretty quickly, and all the things. I won't forget. Have a good day, and little star for you. Poof. Um, so yeah, but this is pretty good. I love it very much, and the main character is actually strong too. Alexis, she's pretty good. I like my female main characters to be pretty strong. I get so tired. I don't know about any of you, but I get really exhausted when authors make female characters like the damsel in distress all the time. I'm like, we're not, no. So she's not that. And then she ends up with 2 husbands, and they're both hot and both a little possessive, a little obsessed, and they definitely give off like touch her and die energy, which is great. So yeah, this one's pretty good. The second one's also pretty good, and the second one has a lot of yearning because the husbands kind of screwed things up for Alexis in the first book, like badly, and so they kind of have to like beg for forgiveness for a little bit, and we love the groveling. The groveling is hot. So that's Blood of Hercules for you. It's got a lot of different themes in it, from like Greek mythology to Roman type things. Like, it's very good. There's some Latin in there. I love it. Okay, then the other one, I have 5 in total that I really like, so that's what we're going over. Second one is The Never King, which is basically a dark romance version of like, Peter Pan and what's her face, Tinkerbell, like that entire what is that called? Neverland, duh. It's basically a dark romance retelling of that entire like world, and it's actually pretty good. There's a lot of books in the series. They're all short like this, so they're like pretty quick reads. They actually don't read horrid. I have 2 of them. I haven't gotten all of them yet. I need to because they're actually good. I just don't time lately to actually read books is non-existent because life is lifing. I don't know about y'all, but life is definitely lifing. So, but it's pretty good. And basically, what happens is there's a curse in Winnie's family where on like their 18th birthday, all the women get like taken to Neverland by Peter Pan, and Winnie has lived with her mom like all her life, and her mom is kind of like paranoid about it and all this stuff. And Winnie ends up getting taken on her 18th birthday by Peter Pan. And you go through the whole like Neverland thing, and there's like four hot dudes. It's awesome. It's a pretty solid small book. I'm not even gonna lie. Very nice. So there's this one, and then there's the dark one, and then there's one after that. And so much happens in these books. Like they're short, but there's a lot packed in them. So that is The Never King by Nikki St. Crow. Okay. And these next two books are pretty similar, except that they're different authors. Like the actual plot is basically the same, and I love the plot because it just kind of feels iconic a little bit. Like I don't know how much this actually happens in real life, but it's just a little iconic. So we have Praise by Sarah Cates, and the entire point of this book is that the main female character ends up dating her ex's dad. And to me, that just always is a little like iconic. Like, didn't like this generation. We're gonna go back one. It's just funny to me. So her ex-boyfriend Bew is an absolute douchebag. He does not care for her at all. I think he does, but like, it's not. The reason they ended up together was kind of out of a survival thing. They had a group of three. It was her, Bew, and then another friend, and the friend died like way back and whatever. So they kind of held on to each other out of, grief and all of that. And then they got into a romantic relationship when they probably never should have. And Bew did not treat her very well. He was not abusive, but like he always put her down and was never positive about her body and all of that. So she breaks up with him, and he doesn't have a good relationship with his dad because his dad owns like a sex club. And he's like, that's just weird. I don't know why my dad does that. I'm not into that. And she needs to go get her half of the deposit for their apartment thing because Bew absolutely trashed the apartment and they're getting kicked out. And so she's like, great, now I have to go get my deposit because Bew didn't get it for her. And he's like, oh, well, it's at my dad's. And while you're there, can you get mine? She's like, no. So she goes and get hers to get hers. And when she gets in there, there's a whole scene that happens that's very like, ooh, it's very hot, it's very weird, and it's very random. And once Bew's dad realizes that Charlie, which is the main female character's name, is not who he thought she was, it's hysterical. And that's where their entire relationship starts, is at that meeting where she's trying to get her deposit back. And she then becomes his like secretary, and then he teaches her about the whole like worlds there, and all that, and it's just good. And they end up together, and he's just a hot dude. The biggest red flags about him though is it does take him a while to realize he actually does have feelings for Charlie because he thinks it's wrong because it's his son's ex-girlfriend. And he's slightly emotionally mature sometimes, but other than that, it's a pretty solid book. So this is Praise by Sarah Kate. I would recommend. It's pretty good. I've reread it like 3 times. I reread a lot of my books, which is great, except then whenever I'm like, ooh, I want to read a book today, I'm like, can't read that one because I just read it like 2 days ago. All right, and then the I'm on the 4th book now. Let's go. And this one has a very similar plot line as the last one. So it's a female main character who ends up dating her ex's dad. And the ex in this one is also called Bew. Bew apparently is a very common ex-boyfriend name. And it's pretty cool. And I think I actually got them confused, I'm not even gonna lie. Either way, this is here, and this one's good. So same situation, girl is dating this guy, and I believe they also had a whole friend thing, like their friend died or something, so they ended up together out of necessity. Bew also trashes the apartment, so they have to move out. But before that, the main character, this one, Jordan, meets B's dad at a movie theater, and they kind of like bond without realizing who each other is. And then on the way out of the theater, it's like 12 or 2 a.m. And the only reason she's there is because her boyfriend forgot to pick her up at her shift, and her shift ended early. So she's like, I would call him, but he's not reliable, which is sad. So she ends up going to watch like an old movie at a movie theater because that's like one of the things that she does and enjoys. So she goes there and she kind of causes a whole scene because it's her birthday. So she spills like the wine she was given. It's like she's like a hot mess in the beginning of this book, like a very hot mess. And so she ends up sitting with Pike, who is the main male character, and he's very hot. He's into like construction and lifting things. My imagination says that he's hot. So they kind of meet and they are like connecting and all the things, and then get out of the theater, and someone, I can't remember who, it's either her or him, who receives a call about View, and then the other one realizes, oop, and they're like, yeah. So they kind of have a sad realization of like, oh, this, I mean, I'm with somebody, but even if I wasn't, this wouldn't work out because you're my boyfriend's dad. That's weird. So yeah, so Bu and her get kicked out of their apartment, and Bu's dad offers to host them in his house. So there's a lot that goes in to all of that. There's a lot of miniature like things that happen, and they all kind of build up, and it's just very hot. So this is good. And then at some point, the dad there, Pike, he has to go grovel to the main female character because he screwed it up badly and she left, and so then he has to figure out where she is, and then he grovels pretty hard. So we like that. We like a man who can grovel. It's pretty hot. So that's Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. And then the last rec I have that is one of my favorites, and it's actually a recent read too. I read it for my book club book last month, I think. And that's Blood on My Monster by Rena Kent. It is a part of a trilogy. I have not read the other ones yet. I need to, because like this one left off on a pretty serious cliffhanger, which kind of freaked me out because I was like, no, it can't end this way. But anyway, this is the cover. This is what it looks like. This is about a woman who has to pretend to be a man to be in the military, and she does this out of protection for herself and her family, but also to gather information on who killed her family. There's a lot of mafia ties in this, and the main male character is very much a part of a mafia family, and we're pretty positive that his family is responsible for her family's death. But anyway, they go on a mission together, and he kind of already realizes that she is a woman, but he doesn't say anything because like he's very whatever works for you. But they end up on a mission together because he takes her to his on his team after like kind of like giving her some trainings on the side, and they get ambushed. Pretty much all of their team dies except them. She gets like shot, so he has to carry her to like a village, and that's where he figures out for sure that she's definitely a woman. And she tries to explain it to him. He's like, dude, I don't care. Like, you don't have to explain it to me at all. And so then they kind of form a bond, but she shuts it down because of all the stuff. And then they finally kind of get back, and she ends up going with him back to the States because he's called back to the States by his family hot mess, and he has to go deal with it, and he's a part of a mafia family. So he gets called back. She goes with him as like his bodyguard and realizes how horrid his family is. His mother's actually awful, his brother's questionable, and his sister's terrified of human beings because their father was very abusive. So that, that's fun to come back to. And they go on this lovely journey together throughout the book where he's trying to take kind of control of his family as the new, mafia boss heir thing. And she is trying to find information about the massacre of her family, basically. And so he really likes her, but would not use that word. And he's trying to figure out what she's hiding because he knows that she's hiding something. And it becomes even more obvious as the story goes on that he very much knows she's hiding something. and she's trying hard to make sure he doesn't find out and to not get attached because she's growing quite fond of the man. Then at the end, she has to go on like a 3-day vacation to see her family, the family that is alive, and that's like her uncle, a nephew, and her grandma. And her grandma's sick. And so she's like, oop, I gotta go see to make sure that she's, like see her for the last time. So she goes. And then we leave off with a cliffhanger, and I don't want to spoil it, but he ends up following her, and it becomes a whole thing. So there's 2 more books in this series that I really, really want to read. I just haven't bought them yet. And there's a lot of, and it's like kind of enemies to lovers. I think there's going to be that throughout the entire series. And there's also like a lot of tension, a lot of beautiful tension, a lot of bickering, banter. He's definitely a little possessive, a little obsessive. And so it's pretty good. So that's Blood of My Monster by Rena Kent. The second one I think is Lies of My Monster. And so I'm excited to read that one. So those are my top 5 favorite smut books, if you will, for today. And yeah, that is what I have for that. I'm going to grab my drawing and then I'm going to draw and then we can talk about whatever because that's kind of my vibe. I talk about something for like 15 minutes and then we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about, whether that's life, books, potatoes, whatever floats the boat. I'll be like right back. Don't even. We are a hot mess this morning. Dun, 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 dun. I'm a hot mess most of the time though, so it's not really any different. Alright, so we have been like trying to finish this doodle forever, and we got like 4 flowers on it. The flower style is kind of like, I wanted to go for like a henna type flower situation, because I don't know about y'all, but I think henna is really cool. I've never gotten it done. I've always wanted to. And so it's pretty cool. Getting my lovely little heat pad on because my stomach is being very temperamental this morning. But how is everybody? How are we doing? How's our week going? Are we excited for the weekend? I kind of forgot that today was Friday. I woke up and I was like, oh, Thursday, but Thursday was yesterday. And this week is like basically almost over after today. And I get paid today, so it's a good day. We're trying to remind ourselves that it's a good day, to be entirely honest. We're just tired. We are very tired. But how is everybody doing? What's our lives like? Are we? That's not center, but it's fine. Yeah. And I watched my first anime this week, and it was actually pretty good. I've never really watched anime before. And it's not because like I'm like, ooh, no thank you. It's like I just haven't done it. And so I did watch my first one this week. It was actually pretty good. It was a short series. I did have to buy each episode, which was interesting, but it was a good series and I'm glad I did. Good first introduction. And then I got a bunch of anime recs. So I have a whole list of animes I need to watch, and then I'll probably talk about them at some point because why not, yeah, that's like the biggest thing I did this week. And then rain. We had a pretty interesting thunderstorm happen. That was kind of like, ooh, I was expecting it to be worse than it was. I was glad it wasn't too bad. I don't really like thunderstorms. Like, I think lightning's cool, but the actual thunder and the wind still freak me out a little bit just because like we have a roof issue, and so like there's anxiety with that, and then my mule lives outside, and so I'm always like, is he gonna be safe? It's a whole thing. And it's also why I don't like to travel. I have a couple of things that cause me great anxiety, and thunderstorms and traveling are like 2 of them. So, I like road trips though. Road trips are pretty cool. Road trips are pretty awesome. My favorite road trip I've ever been on was to Canada. That was pretty cool. The route that we take is like very scenic. very pretty, very out in the middle of nowhere, which is also kind of nice. And it's a route that doesn't make it feel like it takes forever. Like sometimes you go on back roads and like it just feels like the trip is 10 times longer. That is not the case with the road trip to Canada. It's very nice. That is not what I'm looking for. Ugh. My shoulder is like trying to die. Oh my god, so I get really interesting comments from people and DMs, and I always, try to respond no matter what it is, just because that's who I am. And on my TikTok, I somehow missed the fact I had like 2 message requests. And TikTok is weird because like TikTok mobile does not display the same things as TikTok on desktop. Wow, that was a whole alliteration. Not really, but it felt like that. And I was like, oh, I was on my desktop the other day, and I was like, oh, let me go check out what these message requests are. And one of them was fine. One of them was from somebody who I already talked to. And then one was from some random guy who I've literally never seen in my entire life. No clue who this guy is. He's like an old white dude, and he's in my DMs, and he's like, I want you to be my side chick. And I'm like, excuse me? He used different words, but that was basically the gist of his message, and I was like, bruh. I went to respond not interested, and his account suspended. So it told me that he was doing this to other people, and someone reported him. And I was like, yeah, it's just so weird. People are very odd, and I'm never sure, like, what drives them to go, ooh, I'm gonna DM this chick and go ask her if she wants to be my loyal side chick. Like, who actually thinks like that? And, like, it doesn't make sense to me. But, is what it is. It's people are just weird, and I have no. And there's like different types of weird, because like that's creepy weird, and then you have other people who are just like fun weird, but that was creepy weird, and I don't do creepy weird. I'm not about that. I'm like, I don't do creepy weird. It's just not my thing. All right, we tried to make a little thing in the middle, but I'm not sure you can see. But we're going to make a flower that's in the middle and branches out. So I have all 4 corners, and then we're going to make our middle flower. And then as we continue, it's all going to like connect in its own weird way, because that is the plan. That's the plan, Stan. Dun, dun, dun. Bum, bum, bum. And it's really fun. Anybody read anything interesting lately? I think I asked somebody that earlier, so there's that. I feel like I just don't have time to read lately. Like, I have a book for my book club on a different YouTube channel, and I've literally read 5 chapters and have not picked it back up since. Part of it is the book itself is a little questionable. Like, the main female character, she can't decide whether she's terrified for her life or horny. Like, legit. And it's kind of annoying. Like, just because the context of the situations, I'm like, girl, what? Like, she'll make a smart decision and then she'll turn around and make a very dumb one. She's not the smartest female main character I've ever met. And that's saying something, because I've met some serious dumb ones in my books, but I'm like, girl, it's not. She's kind of annoying. Like, the main male character is actually more interesting, which I don't normally feel that way, but I'm like, I'd rather listen to his point of view, than hers, because hers is like, girl, you are not smart. I don't know how you passed any type of class, ever. She's questionable. And I'm like, it is not. Like, so she ends up in this small town, okay, because her uncle, who she didn't even know had, died and left her his estate and all of that, right? Which just comes at a perfect time, because she's on the run from, I think it's her ex-fiance, who like tried to murder her. So, we already have past trauma. Someone basically tried to kill her, so she's already like whatever. And somebody, her real estate person, whoever the guy is that's been handling like communications between her and like all of this, is like, hey, just so you know, some people sometimes do case the house. So if you get to the house and someone's there, like it's there's somebody probably just casing it. Well, she gets to the house at like, I don't know, sometime like 12 or 2 a.m. Hello, Momo. How are you doing? We're just talking about books and life while I am drawing. And so she gets to the house and there's this car there and the lights are on and he like kind of freaks her out, which is fair. And she does not feel the need to stay at said house with said creepy car at 12 or 2 a.m. So smart decision, right? She's like, okay, this isn't safe. I'm gonna go to someplace more populated. So we make a smart decision. It's great. It's going great. She ends up at this little diner that's weird. Very weird little diner. I don't know why she thought it was a good idea, but she's also in the middle of nowhere, so there's like no option. She gets to the little diner, she's hanging out, getting some coffee, trying to get some food, and she's also broke, so, you know, diner food's like the best food to get because it's cheap and good. Hello, why? Yeah, yeah. A girl said she wanted a burger, and I said, you the real burger. Beautiful. How did she respond to that? um, so she was at this diner, and then like a group of guys come in who are all like motorcycle things, and they go sit down, and they kind of do a little whatever, and they like talk to her, and she's like kind of freaked out, which is fair because I don't know about you, but you know, if you're a woman alone in a diner and then a group of dudes start talking to you, it's weird. It's very weird. And so, she was like trying to mind her business and they're like, why don't you sit with us? And she does. It makes no sense. Like, she does not make, like, she goes from making a smart decision to move back to civilization and then makes a dumb one by going and sitting with like 4 dudes she doesn't even know. Not the smartest female main character I've ever met. Why, yeah, she threw coffee in your face? I mean, that's fair. Not gonna lie. Keith Murphy, McPickle Pounder, fair enough, man. I don't know, but fair enough. Exactly. Exactly, why, yeah. It's like she's not the smartest, and it's very frustrating. Because then after that, the main character comes in, and he basically is like, yo, you are not supposed to be in this town. You should leave. So he tries to scare her off, and she's like, dude, I'm not leaving. And but during that entire altercation, like she immediately is like, ooh, you're attractive. Ooh, you're not attractive. Like I'm just like, I can't. She's not, I don't like her very much, if I'm totally honest. She's not my cup of tea for main female characters, but that's okay. We are probably either going to finish this book or not going to finish this book. Depends. I want to read it, but I'm also like, I think I'm hoping like once I get past the first 10 chapters, it'll be good. Because somebody in my book club was like, the first 10 chapters were not that great. So I'm hoping if I get past them, maybe the book will be better. But yeah, that's my update on that book. And now I'm just drawing a flower in the middle of this beautiful random doodle masterpiece situation. So yeah, that's what I have. How is everybody this morning? Are we good? Are we vibing? Are we, you know, I don't know. Are we excited that it's Friday? I'm excited that it's Friday because this week has felt like a lot and I'm over it. So I don't know about y'all, but I am very excited that it is Friday. And yeah. My petals do not all look the same. But you know what? That's okay, because no one said they had to. Dun, 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 dun. We're just coloring the middle of this flower. Okay, now I have a flower in the middle. This is weird, but I like it, and that's kind of like all that matters. Alright, the thing I always love asking people, are we coffee drinkers or tea drinkers? I'm a tea drinker. I cannot drink coffee. I like coffee-ish, but it makes me tired. Like, it does the exact opposite of what caffeine's supposed to do, or it's supposed to, like, make you awake and alert and all the things. It makes me very exhausted, and so I try very hard to not have coffee or caffeine because like it does not. As soon as I drink coffee, I want to take a nap. Like it's pretty immediate. I'm like, ooh, that was a nice beverage. Time to go sleep for like 55 hours. So I'm not a coffee person, but I do like tea. I've grown to like tea. I did not used to like tea. The only reason I drink it now is because I put collagen in it, which is good for your gut lining and your skin and your nails and your hair. And I have severe eczema, so it helps with that as well. So yeah, there you go. That's my lovely spiel about tea and coffee this morning. And now we're just making a circle around my flower. I took it to circle. Circle. We have circles, and it's so much fun. I'm trying to think of other books that I like. Well, a lot of books I like. Although there was one I was reading that was actually horrid. I could not. I had to put it down. And it's called Caging Fire. I don't remember who the author is, which is probably good because I would throw hands at them. I don't know what exactly, I don't know where they got their inspiration, but I, it's bad. I was so excited to read it because I heard a lot about it. I was like, oh, this book is going to be so good. It was so not. So it's supposed to be about this main female character who, it's like the whole alpha and omega universe type thing. And the main female character is the omega, and then there's four alphas and all this. Except the fact is that it all happens too quickly. Like everybody meets too quickly, things escalate too quickly, and I just was like, they don't really treat her like well, in my opinion. I'm like, it's not. It was not. I could not finish it. I got to like 10 chapters and they were already banging. Like there was no build up at all. And I'm not saying I need my books to be like slow, but a little bit of like build up in my books is like the entire point. And there was not one of that. And then there's one I tried reading a while ago that started out good. It's Pen Pals by somebody. And it started out okay. It's definitely like a dark romance read, but then it got weird. Like there was no mention of something being paranormal in this book, and suddenly it became paranormal. Suddenly, like every other chapter and was about, you know, touching each other. And I was just like, I like my spice books when they have plot and spice, a little more plot than spice. And like that book started out really good with plot, and then it just like segued into ooh spice every chapter, and I'm like, no. And then just got weird. Like it didn't make sense. The plot kept changing, and I'm like, what is the point of the book? So I stopped reading it because I was like, this is actually horrid. It was not. Now, it was one of those books I was actually really excited about. That happens a lot though, as I get really excited about certain books and then they just turn out to be absolutely like not good. Not good in the end. Which is sad, but you know, it happens. Part of the reason like I kind of in a reading slump just because of how many books I've read that are not good. And so like when I think about going to read a book, I'm like, do I really want to? Is it going to be good or not? And like, depending, sometimes I will not read books if I don't know the author. And then other times I'll be like, I can't stand the author that I've been reading, so let me try something else. Yeah. We have a lot of, I don't know what the right word is, like indecisiveness sometimes about the things that we read. Because, sorry, I'm like tired this morning. I woke up a little earlier than normal, so that probably is why. I got a lot going on today, and last night I was like reading, and then I was like, I should lock in and go to sleep. Like literally I was like, I'm gonna lock in and I'm gonna go to sleep. And I asked my Alexa to play stuff.
I think you just whispered to me. From now on, when you whisper, I will whisper back. You can always say, turn off whisper mode. I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I don't know if y'all heard her, but she was like talking. Anyway, I asked her to play me music last night because I was like having a hard time getting to sleep. And I don't know if y'all know this, but on your Alexa devices, no, don't. Um, you can ask it to play like music for a certain amount of time, and it will, and it'll stop at that time. And so I did last night because I was like struggling to get to sleep, and like I just felt like there wasn't enough noise. I'm somebody who does enjoy noise while I sleep. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've enjoyed having like some type of background noise, whether it's like the peepers outside or like something that's calming. And I didn't have any peepers out last night, so I was like, "Hey, play some like calming, sleepy music for like 10 minutes." And it's like, okay, and I did. And then 10 minutes were up, and I couldn't sleep. I was like, okay, well, let's play some for 30 minutes. And so it did. I must have fallen asleep because I don't remember the playlist ending. Um, and then I woke up, and I was like, oh, let's go. And I felt actually pretty good when I woke up. And now I'm here, and I'm like exhausted. But yeah, last night before I went to bed, I was like reading and on my phone, and my brain was like, hey, we should probably like lock in and go to sleep. And I did. So that was one of my most recent lock in moments. My brain was like, we gotta get our stuff together. I'm pretty much am always saying I need to get my stuff together. Half the time my stuff is actually already together and I just need to like calm down. And then the other half of the time it's so untogether that I don't even know how to begin to put it together, you know? Like I try to be very organized, but I am definitely not always organized. I don't know about y'all, but my organization sometimes needs organization. It's like, ooh, I organized for this, and I did not organize for that. Like this morning after my live was done, I have to like bust through my morning routine and then go work because I have stuff I have to do before a meeting today that I have like not gotten done because life and procrastination, and so I left it to today, and I probably shouldn't have. But you know, we're gonna lock in and get it done. So it's exciting. It's so exciting. All right, we got part of a flower done. We got it's moving. It's doing good. We are making a flower, and it's actually going decently well. Yay! I like gel pens, but sometimes I think they're a little too jelly, and they don't really want to gel together. They kind of just are, and that can be interesting sometimes. Oh my god, it's so weird though, cause like I don't know how many of you have heard like hear me outs, but some of the comparisons you'll see from like girls hear me outs to guys hear me outs are so different. Like guy hear me outs are just normal like hear me outs, and then women's hear me outs are like insane and very weird. I am one of those people. But it's always funny when like the dudes are like, "Oh yeah, this is like totally a hear me out," and then women look at it and go, "That's just normal. Like, what do you mean that's a hear me out? Like, it's just normal. I don't understand." My arm just cracked. I want my entire back to crack. It's like been in pain for a little bit, and I'm over it. And we're doodling. don't even know what is happening. It's just happening. I feel like I'm like tattooing paper. Not even gonna lie. Like, it just feels that way. It's okay. Have a good day, the only MK. Thank you for coming in. Have a good one. And I will see you when I see you. I'm just drawing with like elevator music, so you're fine. Almost done with my flower. Oh my god, my legs are like crisscrossed applesauce on my bed. And my legs do not like the crisscross applesauce. They are not about that life. They're like sleepy and I don't like it. I hate the sleepy feeling when you get in your legs. It's like, because then sometimes it becomes that weird tingle that feels weird when you try to stand. It's like pins and needles. It's very weird. And I don't like it. I do not like it at all. And we finish part 1 of this middle flower. And it's exciting because I wasn't sure my gel pen was going to cooperate with me. So we like it. I recently started watching Vanderpump Villa. I don't know if any of you guys have watched it, but I watched, I like reality TV a little bit. It's kind of fun. It reminds me that I was actually raised decently well, because some of these people on reality TV shows, I'm like, who raised you and why? And I've watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, like all 5 seasons. And in one of the seasons, they talk about a trip that Mom Talk went on at Vanderpump Villa. And I didn't really understand what Vanderpump Villa was. And so we finally found it at some point here. We finished the first season this week and we're starting the second one. And then in the second season, we get to finally see footage of like Mom Talk at Vanderpump Villa. So we'll get to see the other side of this. And I'm like so excited because there was so much speculation about what really happened at Vanderpump Villa for Mom Talk and Demi and everything. So I'm like so excited to finally see this. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited. My hips are tired. You're back, the LEMK. Welcome back. Glad you are. I was just talking about the Vanderpump Villa series on Hulu and how I'm excited because in the second season, which I'm starting this week, I will finally be able to see the other side. I don't know if you've watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives at all, but in like season 4 and 5, they kind of focus on the fact that one summer, Demi and a couple of the other girls from Mom Talk went to Vanderpump Villa, and like Demi had an affair with like Marciano, and Demi is like basically denied that and made him into this whole thing, and so I can't wait to see the actual footage of Mom Talk at Vanderpump Villa, because then we'll actually know for sure what really happened, because Demi has been claiming all these things, and it's like, girl, you were on camera. I cannot wait to see what the on-camera version actually shows. So that's what I'm excited about. And then I finished part 1 of my middle flower, and now we're gonna do like a little ring around it of stuff, and so that's what we're doing. And my legs are trying to fall asleep because they do not like the crisscross applesauce position, because I am no longer a little kid who does crisscross applesauce all the time. I am an adult who does not normally do crisscross applesauce, and so it hurts after a while. It makes my legs go tired and numb. It's not the best feeling. Yeah. Making dots for like our north. This almost is like giving compass. Can't even lie. Boom. Alright. And then we're going to put a dot here. Put a dot here. I don't even know. I'm just so ready for like, so tomorrow I have my part-time job, and then afterwards I have a fun little like staff event, so I get to hang out in my workplace without actually working, which is very nice. And I get to invite my family to go, so we're gonna be there, and I'm so excited. I am very excited because life has been so busy, so I look forward to having like a little break from it. And I was like, ooh, I wonder what I'm gonna wear. And then I remembered I will be working that day, so like it doesn't matter. What's my occupation? So during the week, I work at my family business and help run that, and we do digital marketing, so social media strategy, Facebook ads, Google ads, and websites. And then on the weekends, I work part-time at my job that is at a winery. So I like serve wine. Sometimes I'm required to make food depending on if somebody orders it. So like we make paninis, charcuterie boards, hummus trays. I think that's pretty much, yeah. So those are my jobs. I got 2 at the moment. And then I do all of my like content creation on the side. So yeah, we you know, we do be busy. This week, like this live will be my 4th live this week, and it's only the 2nd week of me doing that. Eventually, like every week, I kind of want to get to doing 4 lives a week, because I have 2 YouTube channels, so I split my lives up. So like earlier this week, I did a live for this channel or a live for my other channel, and then yesterday I did a live for my other channel, and I'm doing a live for this channel today. So we kind of want to, you know, make a balance of everything. Well, and it's like on TikTok, I learned yesterday that on one of my TikTok accounts, I get early access to doing lives, which is actually insane, because most of the time you have to wait till you have like 1,000 followers, and I literally only have 50, which is awesome. I love my 50, but it's because people on my TikTok have been like very engaging, which is awesome, and I love it. And so TikTok was like, here, you get to go live now, and I'm like, oh. So that was exciting news that I found out yesterday, and so at some point I will be testing that feature out, and I'm pretty excited. Oh shoot, pretty excited about it. Sorry, my pen was like decided to try to die. So yeah, I was like, oh, because it like TikTok, I don't know how many of you use TikTok or are actively on it, but if you are like posting and everything, it gives you these weird little like system updates, and mine has been telling me like, hey, you're outperforming 90% of creators with similar accounts. And I always feel like it's lying to me to like hype me up. Like honestly, I feel like they kind of take the Delulu is the Salulu. Like I never feel like they're real and honest when they tell me that I'm outperforming. And then they gave me the whole TikTok live thing, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I am, I don't know. So it's like TikTok is weird. It's not my favorite social media platform, but you know, we adapt, change, and overcome pretty well. So we've used my lovely little adapt, change skill set over there, and it seems to be working. So we like it. Yes. Do any of you guys use TikTok like actively? Because like I literally don't use it except for content creation purposes. Like my favorite social media app is Instagram. I don't know if that's like a age thing or what, but like I prefer Instagram over any other social media platform. I don't mind YouTube. YouTube isn't bad. It's not my favorite. Like I like it for content creation. It's a pretty fun app for content creation. But in terms of like actually being on it consistently, it's not my favorite. Cause like you can't. Oh my gosh, you're so fine. Have a really good day, the only MK. I'm glad that you came. You're one of my regulars and I love it. You're awesome. So I hope you have a fantastic day. No worries. See you when I see you. This is either going to be really cool or really scary. And I'm not sure which, to be honest. Like, I think it's kind of cool, but it's also, like, so not symmetrical at all. But none of my art is ever symmetrical. Look at that. I'm trying to, like, so each corner of my doodle here is like a flower. So I was trying to, like, think about it in my brain as them all collected together as one flower in the middle. So that's kind of, like, what we're doing. So basically following the same pattern I've been doing on my other flowers, but we're just doing it as a whole. So it's kind of like weird. Nope, nope. So that's kind of the thing here. It does kind of like give compass vibes, honestly, which is funny because I probably could use a compass. I don't know my left from my right sometimes. Like me and geography do not get along. I took a geography class in 7th grade. And first of all, I didn't have a consistent teacher throughout that year because the teacher that was there got fired for embezzling funds and gambling at a casino from the school. And so I didn't ever get to meet him, which is probably good. And so I had like 3 different teachers my 7th grade year for geography. We went through one of them who I actually liked, and then another one who she stayed for like a majority of the school year, but it was bad. Like I did not like her. I'm not sure she really liked me. She also did things in a very confusing way, and she like tried to be full of wisdom, but sometimes I just wanted her to like be quiet. Like it just was not. I did not enjoy her as my teacher ever. And so we focused a lot of that geography class on Africa and like all the things. So when we finally got a permanent teacher, like 2 months before the school year was up, he was like, "All right, what have you guys been learning?" And we're like, "Africa." And he's like, "Okay, well, somebody tell me about Africa." And so no one could because literally she didn't really teach us much. She was just like, "Here's a book. Go read like 15 chapters." Like that was it. That was our homework. And it was easy to pass because like we could just look at the answers and everything, but in terms of actually knowing things like from memory and like practicing, we couldn't tell him literally anything about Africa. And he was like, "Why don't you guys know anything?" And we're like, "Well, she didn't really teach us. Like we don't know what's happening. We don't know because we were never really taught." And he's like, "Oh." So he kind of had to like start our class from the beginning, even though we were already almost done with the school year. So that was like, I think that was pretty stressful for him, which would make sense because that would be stressful to anybody. Like, you walk in, you think these students know something, and it turns out they don't because the teacher they had didn't teach them anything. She did teach me something, that I don't like her. I had her for another class, and it was for cooking, home ec, and she wasn't any better in there. So, like, we, we had my group had made a cake, and we didn't finish it until later. And so we were asked the teacher, like, hey, can we come in and during sixth period and like eat our cake and everything. And so we came in and we did, and then I had to go because I had like sport practice. So I was like, hey, someone's gonna take care of the dishes, right? And someone was like, yeah, for sure. So I left and went to my period. Well, then the next morning, I saw the substitute teacher, and she was like, hey, I'm not blaming you, but like, it's your fault. And I was like, what? I do remember you, Lila. How are you doing? I was wondering if you were gonna come in at some point. I'm just talking about one of the teachers I had who was kind of horrid and I didn't like her. But how are you? How's your life going? How's life been since I've seen you last? I'm just doodling at the moment. You're good? Good. I was actually thinking about you earlier this week because I did a live earlier this week and I was like, oh, I hope she's good and all the things. So I'm glad you're here. But yeah, this teacher that I had, she was kind of mean. Like she was a substitute teacher, but she kind of held a permanent substitute teacher like position with the school district, and I had her for a home ec thing, and my group, we had made like a zucchini cake or something, and we didn't finish, like we finished it, but we didn't finish it in time to also eat it because it needed to cool. So we were like, hey, do you care if we leave this in the fridge and then eat it when like sixth period, like at the end of the day? And she was like, no, feel free to do that. So we did. We came back at like sixth period to eat this. You did 2 eggs yesterday? Hey, get it. Oh, you did, wait. Eogs? What's it? Wait, hold on. What's an EOGS? I read that as eggs, but that does not say eggs. What is an E? I don't know what that is, but I want to know. So just let me know what that is. So we came back during sixth period, and she was like, "Yeah, for sure, go do whatever." So we went to go do whatever, and I had to leave early because I had sport practice, and so I asked somebody, I was like, hey, like you guys got the dishes covered, right? Like I have to go. So I just want to make sure someone's doing the dishes. And someone said yes. And I was like, okay, cool. So I left, did sport practice, all the things. EOG, just say the letter. It means a very, very long, boring test. Ooh, I'm so sorry. What, was it a test that had to do with like, math and science and like reading? Like, was it that type of thing? Or what kind of test? What was on your test? And I'm sorry, because long tests I totally get. I don't like them. Standardized testing is not my favorite thing ever, at all. So I did my sport practice, and then like the next morning I was waiting to go into school in the lobby, and the teacher like saw me, and she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, I'm not blaming you, but like it's your fault." Long reading and long math. Fair. The reading, I did never enjoyed reading tests, but I kind of enjoyed math tests. I really like math. But reading, I just hated it. I hated reading questions because it would always be like, well, you know, tell me what the author meant by this or something like that. And I'm just like, why? We don't know what the author meant. And what the author might have meant is different than what I think about this. And so, yeah, I, I'm so sorry you had to take those tests, and I hope you pass. Very like with flying colors. Did you feel confident on any of those questions at all? And was it all multiple choice or was it written out questions? So like the next morning, girl came in and she was like she's like, it's like, I don't blame you, but it's your fault. And I was like, what's your fault? And she was mad because somebody didn't do the dishes. And I was like, girl, that's not on me. I asked somebody if they would, and they said they would. She's like, well, I don't know. You need to, like, get control of your group. I'm like, it's not my group. I need them to, like, get their stuff together. So I told somebody, I was like, hey, who didn't do the dishes? And the person who's, like, in that homeroom didn't do them. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I got yelled at for it, so heck no. Did not feel confident in any of those questions. Fair enough. I still wish you passed though, and that like you passed with flying colors. I I performed okay on standardized testing, but I never liked it. I just always felt like the questions were always trick questions. I hate multiple choice. I would say I like writing out answers more, but I got those wrong too. So I have no advice. Only hopes and prayers that you pass with flying colors. Because I standardized testing is just not fun. I don't know who. The only time I ever enjoyed standardized testing was for PSAs, and that was because when you got done, you could take a nap. That was the only reason I actually enjoyed PSAs. Was because after I was done, I could just go to sleep, and I did. Well, and then I was one of those people who took a while, so like I would just take. Your internet is crap right now. I'm sorry. Hopefully it'll stop being crap. I don't know. Internet, I hate it when the internet acts up. It's like, bruh, you got one job, and then the internet's like, nah, I don't wanna. We are almost done with this part of the flower, and it's exciting. Well, it's like, I would say I'm excited because I'm never going to have to take a standardized test again, but we'll see. I have a feeling I'll probably take some more when I get older. Because I kind of want to go to college, I just haven't gone yet. Alright, we have done so much. We did this beautiful, that beautiful flower. And now I must go lock in for the rest of my day and get stuff done because I'm on a tight schedule this morning, so I have to go and eat food, feed my cats and my mule and all the things. So I wish you all a very lovely and very nice day. I will see you next week.